Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Esther from Esther's Orchids, and today I thought I would do a video on my grow space out in my conservatory. So I only set this up last year and it was a bit of a shared space with a lot of other stuff. And it still is a little bit of shared space but less. So now it's more orchids because it's supposed to be summer, although our temperature outside is probably 17 degrees, and if you can hear in the background it's actually raining out there at the moment. So it's about 8 o'clock in the evening and it's not quite dark because we have daylight savings. So it's probably about to drop to darkness within the next half an hour. So I just thought I'd get out here and film and show you how my plants are growing. And yes, up there I do have lights and just a normal panel light and two strings or so of LEDs. So we'll start off with my Pathiopedilum babies. Some of them were the ones that I got from the Palmerston North Expo. So we'll start with them down here in this tray here, and I'm just sitting down on a wooden bench seat, so that's what the creaking was. So those were the 7 that I got from Palmerston, and they are still growing. Some of them were getting a bit tall and straggly, so I've kind of put them further down in the pot. They're definitely in big enough pots. They don't need anything bigger, but they needed to be deeper. And some of them I kind of stack the fern fibre up so that if they have roots that are starting to grow, that they're not going into the air. So these were the ones that I had that I was last time away in Wanganui, and I purchased a whole lot of plants. The bigger ones are now in here and the smaller ones are in there. I have a little black furry madam scratching at my arm. So this is my pussycat that went missing. She's over 10.5 years old and just about to died. Came back in a very starry state, but she's always my pussycat that likes to be with me if I'm home. So anyway, those are the smaller ones of the paths. Now last time I watered them, I have a feeling I did them way too wet, so I'm going to be running the fan out here. Some of the days can be super hot and I can come home and it's 27 degrees in here, so I gave them all a good water, and now we've had 3 misty, rainy, horrible days where the temperature hasn't been warm and it's been really humid. So for the show, hopefully in January, I'm growing a few extra bits of greenery to take in, put in between the plants. And yeah, I'm sorry for those of you who don't want to see non-orchid related plants. I do actually grow other little house plants and things. So at some stage, if anybody is interested in seeing what pot plants I do have, I could of course do a video on them if it was requested. So yeah, I do have a few others. I started growing cacti when I started having phalaenopsis, because I wanted to learn how to not overwater plants. So there's a few others up there. So we'll move along to shelf 2, and this is one of my favourite white phals with the green on the lip. Really like that one. She's getting past her best now. But yeah, that one's really pretty. So up there, there's another phal. This is my Pathiopedilums that are slightly bigger. I have 3 Schicklii in the back there. This was the Delinati times Snow Squall that I had pictures of when it was in bloom. And I even have a few little dendrobiums, little rock orchids that were just straggly little bits that I potted up and that are starting to grow on, but they're just giveaways basically. So this container here is my Path Argus and some other ones that were deflasked. So it's been over a year since I deflasked those, And yes, although they grow, that's about my biggest one there. They are slow growing. So, and here on this shelf we have some of my other mottled leaf paths. I've taken a lot of the more green leaf paths inside that can handle the cold, because now inside my house I have a heat pump, so I can cool my house to the temperature I want. And just because I've got one of those this year, it's been a really cold, wet summer so far. So down on this shelf here are my Miltoniopsis. I have had one Miltoniopsis die on me last year. One of them stayed out here and was the last one to move into the house. Got too cold, got too wet, and just shriveled up and died. But the majority of them are very late, no flower spikes as of yet, and all that crinkly growth from when I wasn't watering them enough. But they're sort of growing past all the crinkles. I just have to watch out that they don't get overwatered. So the shelf down underneath them, which is the ground shelf, excuse me while I sit down again, is my Zygos. So I repotted Zygo Conker, Kiwi Conker. So that's the biggest one there. There's one behind. There's one in a little pot down there. There's one in this white pot. And the one at the back is my bluebird that I purchased. So I go bluebird, and then I have two babies that I purchased about 6 months ago. So that's about rack 2. We'll go over here to rack 3. Mostly up the top is Phalaenopsis. When Phalaenopsis stop flowering, you get left with a lot of plants that have greenery and nothing else, although my yellow one there still has 2 stems with flowers. And then we have Phalaenopsis and more of them. This one here is the one that has the plant with a keiki at the back there. You can see a keiki now with one nice big leaf, and it's starting to get some aerial roots up there. So this here is the hotter corner. This looks to the outside that gets the sun in the late afternoon. So my Cattleyas sit here. So I only have 5 Cattleyas. So they sit here in the hot spot. Coming down there, there's another 2. And then on the next shelf down, there's the other 2. So I have found Cattleyas are not really my strong point. However, we'll go back up to this shelf here. Has some other Phals. That one there with just 2 pretty pink flowers left. Oh, we skipped a shelf. We went over. This was shelf 3. So, Phalaenopsis in all kinds of stages of growth. This one I've repotted, taken off all the roots that really weren't good, that were producing those leaves that looked a bit sad. I have another one in the background there that lost all its roots, and I'm trying to get that to grow again. I have some that I was given that I have repotted from the medium they were in, and I'm starting to get some new root tips and things coming on those. And again, oh, now this one here was the keiki that I repotted. So that was my keiki off my first one with the green and white. It's the one that has the second keiki that we've just seen on the shelf way up the top. So it's amazing how fast a keiki grows compared to a seedling. But that one had to get repotted because it was not getting enough nutrients and things from the mother plant. So That one's a keiki. This one had a fantastic blooming last year, and three of these flowers were the older ones that have sort of going off now, but it's getting some new flowers because that's how the colouring really looks when the flowers are fresh out. So that one there is Baldwin's Kaleidoscope. Another keiki. That one's growing really fast. Mini, with lots of cute little flowers there. One we haven't seen for a while here is, and this is the plant of it, my very first Phalaenopsis I got in 2017. Unfortunately her flowers are a bit squashed under the shelf. That was my first Phal that I ever got. So yes, I do still have it. And plant wise, she's a very large girl. This here is a separate one at the front. So that's it there. And down the bottom I have another Zygo Kiwi Conker and some more Phals. That one there is kind of a mixture between the yellow and the white lip, not particularly green like my other one. And some other blooms under there. And my one that was my Cymbidium baby that I was given by a friend has its first bulb forming and has some really nice long leaves now, and it's going to stay inside and grow. I probably won't stick it out till it's got more growth on it to keep it away from the bugs. Okay, so we'll go over to the fourth shelf. And over winter I didn't want to overwater my plants, and this one seriously got underwatered, and that was its flower. And then I realized what was happening and started watering it properly, and then we got some really beautiful big blooms, and there I think you can see the size difference between a good bloom and a bad bloom. And that's the one that's very yellow. I have another one here that isn't spike but isn't blooming yet. That's a maroony red one. Sorry, don't go too fast. And just a few other Phals over there. And we're back over by the bottom shelf of the Cattleyas. This here is my humidifier, but I've turned him off so that he's actually quite whisper quiet, but just so that he's not making any noise while I film. Here's another little mini. So I've just brought this one home recently and repotted it. Its roots were not very happy at all, so it's had some fresh media and into a pot, and I'll be needing to watch that one. And this one's a struggling one as well, and it has one root on it that's been sitting by the humidifier, and I've just recently decided to put that one into some bark chips. So out of the first lot of baby Phalaenopsis that I ever purchased, this is the only one that survived, for which I'm quite happy. It's called Surf Song Kumquat, and it's got an orangey colour flower when it does eventually flower. Some people don't like it, but I'm hoping I will like it because it was the only one of the first babies I ever tried to grow. And we have some other Phals in there, one recovering in a glass, trying to get itself some roots, and that's slowly recovering. Here is another one that I was given and repotted a couple of months ago, and it's picking up brand new roots really fast. It's really happy with its new kind of media. And of course they were seedling-ish size when I first got these Cattleyas, and it's been inside over winter and now out here hopefully getting some warmth. Okay, my last and final shelf is the very hottest, sunniest part in my conservatory, and up here I have my oncidiums, or oncidium types. So at the back there I have a Sherry Baby that I've yet to have bloom for me. This is my Big Shot Yellow Sparkle, Oncidium Stubik. I have at the back there, aka Raspberry Chocolate, I think it's called. Yep, Raspberry Chocolate. This one here is really struggling. It's lost its old roots and it's waiting for these new growths to put down some roots. So I'm hoping that will start to happen soon because those pseudo bulbs are looking pretty bad. Oncidium Sherry Baby Ruby Doll, that's only a youngish plant. And one in the back there that as of yet has not flowered for me. Has plenty of new growths. Not quite sure what to do to get that one to flower. And some kind of newish arrivals down here. Oops. So a mini fel. I really like this mini fel, it's so funny. The little stalks have the purple and the yellow on them, just exactly like the flowers do. So that's the blooms. It's a really bright yellow on the lip, the deep purple and the white. And there you can see that the same colours are mimicked in the flower stalk. So here is the beginning of my collection of my hybrids, primary hybrids, sorry, or species. Some summer blooming baby fells that I had in my holiday video that were in the cupboard. Some of these are definitely growing ahead, and the bigger ones I have out in separate pots. That's my Belina that I've yet to reflower myself. It did come with a flower. I need to get some more. And this is the most recent one that I have deflasked from a single deflasking of just that little plant when it was replated. So that's the ones I had in the cupboard on my holiday, and some of these have got new leaves. Some of them are dropping bottom leaves and producing new ones at the top. I have had one die. Very, very sadly, I lost a, which one was it, Violacea. So this was a mini rescue fel and it's growing itself a keiki. This one here was a keiki off the striped mini. At the back there, sorry, the wobbling phone. At the back there is my container of deflasked fels. And in here, the front two with the bark are the same ones as the Phalaenopsis in the green container that got deflasked, and this one here is a rescue one that was a mini that really doesn't want to do anything, and just a few other bulbs and bits and pieces. Oops. Yep, some more little plants. And down here we have my yellow and red one that had the twin spike. Very, very last flower of my little greenish mini. That's just about all finished now. And the very, very last flower on my stripy one. So my whole conservatory is 1.5 meters wide and probably about 4.5 meters long. And that has now for summer become my grow space. So thanks everybody who stuck through for watching this video. Let me know if you are interested in seeing what houseplants I have. and thank you for watching my video. Have a great evening. Thank you. Bye.